Good morning, everyone. I am V. Rajamohan, and I am delighted to welcome you all today. As a librarian, I am passionate about sharing knowledge and inspiring learning. Today, we have an exciting presentation focused on the vibrant symbol of India. On this first slide, you see the name Rajamohan, my role as a librarian, and the flag of India. Over the course of this presentation, we will explore various aspects related to India's culture, history, and significance. So, let's get started and enjoy this journey together. Let's take a closer look at the national flag of India, which is commonly called the Tiranga, meaning tricolour. It's a horizontal rectangular flag that features 3 equal bands of color. Starting from the top, you see the saffron band, which symbolizes courage and sacrifice. In the middle, there's the white band, representing peace and truth. And at the bottom, the green band stands for faith, fertility, and the land's lushness. These colors are not just decorative. They carry deep symbolism that reflects the core values and history of India. Understanding this flag helps us appreciate the unity and diversity that define the nation, reinforcing the theme of national identity and pride we're exploring in this presentation. Let's take a closer look at the colors of the Indian flag and what they represent. The saffron, or kesaria, color at the top stands for courage, sacrifice, and the spirit of renunciation. It reflects the bravery and selflessness of those who fought for our nation. Moving to the white in the middle, this symbolizes peace, truth, and purity, the core values that guide us as a nation. And finally, the green at the bottom represents fertility, growth, and the auspiciousness of our land. These colors together tell a powerful story about India's heritage and the principles that unite us. Let's take a look at the Calcutta flag from 1906, which is often considered the first national flag of India. It was hoisted on August 7th at Parsi Bagan Square in Kolkata, marking a significant moment in our history. This flag featured 3 horizontal stripes, green at the top, yellow in the middle, and red at the bottom. The green stripe was adorned with 8 lotuses, symbolizing purity and resilience. The yellow stripe carried the words Vande Mataram, written in Devanagari script, which translates to I praise the motherland, a powerful patriotic slogan. And the red stripe at the bottom had a sun and a crescent moon, representing different cultural and spiritual symbols. This flag is important because it reflects the early expressions of national identity and unity. It was a stepping stone in our journey towards a unified national symbol. Understanding this helps us see how our symbols evolved over time, shaping the identity of a collective movement for independence. Now, let's take a closer look at the Berlin Committee flag from 1907. This flag was hoisted by Madame Bikajikama in Stuttgart, Germany, and it holds a special place in our history as the first Indian flag raised on foreign soil. It's important to understand that this flag was quite similar to the one from 1906, but there were some notable differences. For example, it featured different colors, green, saffron, and red, and instead of 8 lotuses, it had just 1. These elements reflect the evolving identity and symbolism of the Indian independence movement. Remember, this flag wasn't just a piece of cloth. It was a powerful symbol of unity and resistance, especially on foreign land. It connects to our overall theme of how Indians abroad contributed to the fight for independence, showing that the spirit of freedom was alive everywhere they went. Now, let's take a closer look at the Home Rule flag of 1917. This flag was adopted by 2 prominent leaders of the Indian independence movement, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant. It featured 5 red and 4 green horizontal stripes, which represented different communities within India. The flag also displayed the Union Jack in the canton, symbolizing India's connection to Britain, but also signifying the goal of achieving dominion status, where India would have self-governing powers within the British Empire. Additionally, the flag included 7 stars arranged to represent the Saptarishi constellation, which holds spiritual significance and was a symbol of guidance and knowledge. There was also a crescent and star, further emphasizing cultural and religious symbolism. Overall, this flag was more than just a symbol. It encapsulated the aspirations of Indians for self-rule and unity among diverse communities. It connected to the broader theme of India's struggle for independence and the desire for a national identity that could unite different groups under a common goal. The Swaraj flag of 1921 holds a special place in our history. It was designed by Pingali Venkaiah and was presented to Mahatma Gandhi, a key figure in the independence movement. The original design featured two stripes, red representing Hindus and green for Muslims. This reflected the unity of different communities fighting together for independence. At Gandhi's suggestion, a white stripe was added to include other communities, emphasizing inclusiveness and harmony among all Indians. In the center of the flag, there's a spinning wheel, known as the charkha. This symbol is powerful because it represents self-reliance, the idea that Indians should depend on their own skills and resources rather than foreign imports. This flag wasn't just a piece of cloth. It embodied the spirit of the independence movement and the values of unity, self-sufficiency, and patriotism that we continue to celebrate today. It connects directly to our overall theme of freedom and national identity. In 1931, a significant moment in our nation's history took place. The Indian National Congress officially adopted the tricolour as our national flag. This wasn't just a change in colors, it was a symbol of our identity and unity. The flag features the distinctive saffron, white, and green bands, arranged in the current pattern. At the center, there's the charkha, or spinning wheel, representing self-reliance and the spirit of Khadi. The colors themselves carry deep meanings. Saffron stands for courage and sacrifice, white signifies peace and truth, and green symbolizes fertility and growth. Notably, these colors marked a departure from earlier religious associations, making the flag a truly inclusive symbol for all Indians. This adoption was more than just choosing colors. It was about forging a shared identity and inspiring collective pride. It laid the foundation for our ongoing journey toward independence and unity, aligning perfectly with the larger theme of our movement, striving for a free, unified, and self-reliant India. On July 22, 1947, the Constituent Assembly officially adopted the flag that we recognize today as the flag of independent India. This was a significant moment, marking the culmination of years of design evolution and national identity building. The design was based on Venkaiah's 1931 proposal, which had laid the groundwork for our national symbol. What's interesting is that in this final version, the spinning wheel, originally a prominent feature, was replaced by the Ashoka chakra. This change was deliberate, aiming to ensure better symmetry in the design and to symbolize progress. The Ashoka chakra, taken from the lion capital of Sarnath, represents the wheel of law, an important symbol of righteousness and movement forward. So this final design isn't just about aesthetics, it's about embodying the values and aspirations of a new nation. It beautifully combines historical symbolism with a modern sense of unity and progress, tying the entire journey of our national identity together. Pingali Venkaiah was a remarkable figure in Indian history. He was not only a freedom fighter, but also an educationalist and agricultural scientist from Andhra Pradesh. What makes him particularly interesting is his extensive research on flags from around the world. He studied various national flags to understand their symbolism and design. Between 1916 and 1921, he proposed several designs for the Indian flag, each reflecting his deep commitment to national identity. His work laid an important foundation for the eventual adoption of the flag we see today. Venkaiah's efforts highlight how visionaries like him contributed significantly to the freedom movement by shaping symbols of independence and unity. His story reminds us that designing a flag is more than just selecting colors and symbols. It's about capturing the spirit of a nation. Let's take a closer look at the Ashoka chakra. This is the navy blue wheel positioned at the center of the white band. It features 24 spokes, which are quite significant. The Ashoka chakra represents the wheel of law, also known as the Dharma chakra. This symbolizes progress, movement, and the idea that life and law are always in motion. When we see this chakra, it reminds us of the importance of continuous growth and adherence to principles of righteousness. It ties into the broader theme of the presentation by highlighting our nation's commitment to justice, progress, and the dynamic pursuit of harmony. Let's talk about the dimensions and materials of the flag. The flag's proportions are quite specific. Its width-to-length ratio is 2:3. This means if the flag is, say, 2 units tall, it should be 3 units wide. It's a standard aspect ratio that helps maintain consistency and visual balance. Now, moving on to the material. Originally, the flag was required to be made of khadi, which is a hand-spun cloth. This choice emphasized self-reliance and connection to our Indian heritage. However, in 2021, there was an important amendment. It now allows flags to be made from machine-made materials as well, like cotton, polyester, wool, or silk. This change provides more flexibility in manufacturing while still respecting the flag's significance. Overall, these standards ensure the flag remains a proud symbol of our identity, whether it's made by hand or machine, and maintains its dignity and respect. Now, let's continue with the Flag Code of India. The Flag Code is essentially a set of laws, practices, and conventions that guide how we display the national flag of India. It's important because it helps us show respect and maintain the dignity of our national symbol. The Flag Code of India, 2002, is neatly divided into 3 parts for clarity and ease of understanding. Today, I'll focus on Part I, which provides a general description of the national flag. This part covers the basic details about the flag's design, proportions, and significance. Understanding these key points helps us appreciate the flag's importance and ensures we display it correctly. Remember, the flag is a symbol of our unity and pride, so knowing how to respect it properly is essential for every citizen. Now, moving on to Part II of the Code, which deals with how members of the public, private organizations, and educational institutions display the national flag. It's important to remember that the flag's display by these groups is governed by specific guidelines to maintain respect and dignity. Then, Part III of the Code focuses on how the flag is displayed by union and state governments, along with their organizations and agencies. This ensures uniformity and respect across all levels of government. It's also worth noting that the Flag Code of India, 2002, officially came into effect on 26 January 2002. This code provides the framework for how the flag should be displayed and handled, regardless of the setting. Overall, these parts of the code emphasize the importance of respecting the national symbol across various sectors, helping us uphold the dignity of our flag in all contexts. So, let's talk about the key differences between flag hoisting on 15 August and 26 January. On Independence Day, which is August 15, the flag is hoisted from the bottom up. This act symbolizes our struggle for freedom and independence. It's a very meaningful moment, and it's usually done by the Prime Minister at the Red Fort. The act of hoisting the flag from bottom to top represents our journey from colonial rule to independence. Now, on Republic Day, which is January 26, the tradition is a bit different. The flag is already at the top of the pole, and what happens is that it is unfurled, that is, spread out to symbolize the establishment of our Constitution and the birth of our Republic. This ceremony is performed by the President at Kardavia Path, or what's popularly known as Rajpath. So, in essence, the main difference is that on Independence Day, we are hoisting the flag from bottom to top, emphasizing our fight for freedom. On Republic Day, the flag is already at the top, and the focus is on unfurling it to celebrate our constitutional republic. Both are important, but they symbolize different milestones in our nation's history. Now, let's talk about the violation of the Flag Code. Since the 2002 amendment, private citizens are actually allowed to hoist the national flag at their homes, offices, or factories. That's a significant change because it gives individuals more freedom to display their patriotism. However, it's important to remember that this is only allowed if certain rules are followed. These rules are in place to ensure that the flag is treated with respect and dignity. On the flip side, if someone violates the flag code or insults the flag, there are serious consequences. Under the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act of 1971, such actions can lead to imprisonment for up to 3 years, or a fine, or sometimes both. This highlights how the law protects the honor of our national symbol and underscores the importance of respecting the flag. So, in the context of our overall discussion on national symbols and pride, it's clear that laws are in place not just to regulate the display of the flag, but also to uphold the dignity and respect it deserves.